Yeah. I want to say welcome everybody in. This is Anthony Rosa. I am your host, Mr. Remedy. And tonight you are watching another show on the Round Table Remedies. And I'm super excited. Tonight we have a very unique title. We're talking about living creative. And in a moment, I'm going to allow the speakers in speaker rotation just to say hello and tell us where they're calling from. Jeffrey?
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Mangus, ghostwriter and author, and I'm coming to you from Hurricane, West Virginia.
Awesome. Welcome, Jeffrey. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Josue Gonzalez. I'm coming from Kansas City, Missouri, and very excited to be a part of the show.
Hey, everybody. I'm Karin Freeland calling in from South Carolina, and I am a life coach and an author.
So the show tonight on Living Creative was brought to me because with everything that's going on, I feel that it's important for us right now to start challenging ourselves a little bit more. And I myself, I haven't always been the most creative. And sometimes I feel like I'm holding myself back. And at times I probably do. And so because I have some amazing people around me that are constantly encouraging me to move forward, I thought that this would be a great show. So tonight we have different authors that are my friends that speak about different topics. And so it's going to be really interesting and really fun, and I'm super excited. And first up, we have Jeffrey Mangus. And Jeffrey was referred to me or connected by a friend, Gary Krebs. And, you are an author of Impossible. And what I want to say is that when we were speaking and you were telling me your story, I felt very connected in regards to some of the challenges that you were going through. Not more specific, but just some of the feelings of uncertainty. And I'm excited for tomorrow, your book launch. And without further ado, I want to invite you on and speak to the audience. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Anthony. It's really a pleasure and honor to meet everyone here tonight as well. Yes, I am the author of Impossible, Real-World Solutions for Amputees to Accomplish the Impossible. And it's taken me 2 years and a lot of emotional and physical pain to get here to this day. This book started in 2017 when I lost my left leg below the knee to a flesh-eating bacteria. And I was septic, and I was in the hospital for a month with near kidney failure and heart failure. I was literally on death's door. So to make things, giving you a really long story kind of short, I took this experience because I had a very heart-wrenching experience with not a lot of help. I wasn't getting a lot of physical therapy. I was basically kind of thrown to the wolves and tossed out with some crutches and said, good luck. And that's a true story. And I wrote about that in the book. But this was at a time when, I had a real estate career, a 14-year real estate career. I was a real estate broker. I had 2 companies. But having this happen to my life made me, I was flying flat on my back. And I really did some soul searching on what is it, Jeff, that you truly love to do? What is that one special thing? And that was writing. I've been a writer my entire life. I've written children's books. I was published 7 times, but never did it professionally or full-time or anything like that. But it's something that I've always loved. And when I was faced with, a new life, a new trajectory, I chose writing. And me being the person that I am, I always give 110% completely. I never jump in halfway in anything that I've ever done. And this was no different. So I jumped in head first and started doing copywriting, started working for agencies around the country, working for pennies on the dollar, but I knew I was getting experience. And then I was approached by a really great friend of mine named Warren Tuttle about writing a book, ghostwriting a book. And that was my first, whoa, me write a book for someone else? I don't know. But he met Gary. I was introduced to Gary Krebs, a wonderful agent, my agent, I think Karen's agent. But we wrote a book proposal and we sold it to HarperCollins right out of the gate. So it was like an affirming thing, like, okay, Jeff, you're on the right path. You know, you're using your creativity now to do something for your life, you know? So we sold the book and wrote the book. Took a couple years to write that book, but you know, it was a great experience. And then that's what started my whole new career. I approached Gary about my book, Impossible, and he thought it was a great title and he thought it was a great concept. So we wrote a book proposal and sold that book. Then we were off and running, and my career hasn't gone. It's gone straight up now. And it's really exciting to do this full time. I don't ever think that I'm working. I love what I do. And it's just a sheer joy to be able to meet people around the world, their stories, hear their stories, learn about their lives, and help them make their book dreams a reality.
Yeah, I love that, you know, and making their dreams a reality. Jeffrey, can you talk about some of the secrets that you live by in regards to living creative?
Yes, I can. Actually, creativity is probably at the heart and soul of what I do, because being a ghostwriter, the biggest challenge is capturing the author's voice. And my creativity spurs back. I used to be a professional musician. I traveled the country and toured the nation. I was in Los Angeles, California for about 5 years, in Hollywood. I had a small record. I was on a small record label. I've done a lot of things in my life, and all of it also points back to creativity. And being a writer and what I do, I use that creativity to be able to imagine the author in my head and hear their voice, to be able to capture it on the page. That sounds like an easy task, but it's not. It's not an easy task, especially when, you know, the author's reading their words written by someone else, and it's got to sound like the author, or it's going to fail. You know, the project is going to go under, and I've never had a project go under as of yet. But creativity is the heart and soul. So I use it every single day. Even though it's not music, I still have that creativity, and being able to be creative with the stories and being able to bring it out on the page instead of being flat, being able to tell a story and make it interesting. You know, everything. I have authors that tell me, just create a story, write something fictional, you know, and I'll sign off on it. Okay, great. So I use that creativity to create a story that's going to support the subject matter. Yes. And one of the second secret, it really, and this, I don't want to sound cliche, but I'm going to have to sound cliche. It's truly believing in yourself. I mean, if you're a person out there and you're sitting in a cubicle, or if you're in a job that you don't really like, or if you're stressed, but the money's good, but if you're afraid to make that leap, you just have to truly believe in yourself. And I say genuinely, like, talk yourself into saying, okay, I'm going to do this, and I can do this, and I'm going to make that leap. And once you do make the leap, and is holding on to that belief, you know, and that's what I do. I held on to my belief in what I could do. And when I was faced with something that I didn't know I could do, like, you know, starting with copywriting and social media posts, I had never done that before, but I believed in myself, like, okay, Jeff, you're going to make this work. No matter what, you're going to take what you're going to fail, you're going to flop, and it's going to hurt, but you're going to take that experience and use it for the good. And that's what I did. And so believing in yourself is absolutely critical, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe in you, period. If you don't exude that, if you don't show that, it's not going to happen. And the third secret, I truly believe, for me, that works with what I do, and to help someone out there who's on the edge, who's thinking about doing something different, or changing their life, or has that desire, is passion. When I say passion, I mean, find that one thing that you love to do, and don't chase the money any longer. Let the money go, because I'm a firm believer, and I'm living proof that if you follow the passion genuinely, with all you got, follow the passion that you love to do, no matter what it is, whether it's, you know, shooting bow and arrows or fishing or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If you find that passion and follow it with all your heart, the money will come. Finances will take care of itself. And I'm living proof of that. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. But that's the key, is finding that and genuinely soul searching, not just, looking around. Oh, I don't know, I might be pretty good at that, but like soul searching. And that's what I did when I was on my back. What is it, Jeff, that you truly wanted to do for the rest of your life? What is that? What is that one thing? And that's writing. And I've done it. I pursued it, and I have a career in ghostwriting because of that passion.
I love that. And, there's some activity on the posts with liking what you're saying. I think that believing in yourself and chasing your passion is definitely something that is a huge takeaway. And I loved how I put that hashtag soul searching. So those that are watching on the live, we definitely want to encourage you just to engage with us. What creative ideas do you have? What roadblocks are you feeling or going through as you're trying to be creative or start something, whether it's a new career or a new book or a new relationship? And so, Jeffrey, I want to say thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We're
you.
definitely going to hear a little bit more from you on the final thoughts segment of the show. And again, soul searching and keep on searching. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank
Stay
you.
with that.
Thank you so much.
And next up, Omar, welcome back. A lot has changed since the last time you were on our show.
Yes. I've
And
been a lot busier.
yeah, no, I'm glad you got a lot of good things going on. You released your second book. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So my second book is Paradise Taken, The Diary of Eden Flores Part 1. It came about because of my first book. So Eden Flores is a lifelong friend of mine. She read my first book, and she loved how I wrote it, the themes, the layout. So she had always been thinking about, whether her life was like a story that should be told to the world. And finally, I guess just by reading my book and seeing that, I took that step in doing so, telling the world about my life, I think that gave her enough courage to, pursue that idea. However, she didn't feel like she could write it. She could tell it, but she couldn't write it. So that's why she confided in me, to tell her story for her. And so we got together, we did a series of interviews, and we got it going, got it done. Paradise Taken. Now it's out there. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, ebook, paperback. So it was an incredible journey. I'll tell you that much. It was one of the biggest challenges I've had yet, for as far as writing is concerned, because to write about my life, I mean, I don't know. It's just, to me, it was like easy because everything is all in here. I know how I felt. I know the events. I don't really have to use that much imagination because it's all in there. With Eden Flores, however, I had to dig deep. I had to reach in there, pull out all the stops, and it was also quite uncomfortable as well because I don't know if you've read the book yet. I know you got yourself a copy, Anthony, but there's some pretty rough stories in there, that deal with child abuse and sexual trauma. And so if you can imagine, I'm there sitting in front of her, interviewing her, having to listen to her tell those stories, and in the manner that I wanted her to tell the stories. I wanted her to give me all the emotion, the raw emotion, just the explicit details, like just so that I could envision that in my head so that I can tell the story the way that she wanted it and I wanted it, to convey those emotions to the reader, have them feel what she was going through, when those events were happening. So it was it was a pretty good experience. I wouldn't have changed it, for anything. I'm so glad that she came to me with that opportunity, and I'm also glad at myself that I took upon such a challenge to do that, because I was scared at first. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, I don't know, writing about somebody else. I don't know if I could do it, but I took the challenge, because at the end of the day, I knew it would just make me better. It would make me a better writer.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a very powerful trailer, and I would love for everybody to see that. So let's try to see if we can get that set up for us right now.
Okay.
One second. See my screen?
No.
Okay, right now. Pennies, a nickel, a dime, a quarter. Okay, Alex, do we have enough? No, Junior. We only have gotten 50 cents so far. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, sorry, man. That trailer still gives me chills, man. um, it's about a story that happened during very early on in her childhood, where her and her brothers were struggling to find money so that they could buy lunch, because that's how it was growing up for them. Mom was busy at work, working 2, 3 jobs. Dad was, either busy doing his thing. And so they had to fend for themselves. They had to provide for themselves. And just that one was a very tricky story because there's like comical tones in it, but then there's also like some serious tones, like when one of the brothers starts describing, like, what happened to him the day before. His father, he beat him up pretty bad. And so it just shows you like how kids are very some kids can be so strong. Like, we take them for granted because like they're kids, but some kids are just very strong. They've got strong spirits. And, yeah, the day before, you could have, um, went upside their head, with a belt 20 times. And then the next day they're right back at it, doing normal kid stuff, trying to live a normal life, what they think is normal. So it was a pretty interesting story. And it was hard because I kind of told it like in like a poem form. And with poems, writing poems about me is easy because, like I said, all the emotions, all the feelings are within me. I know how I felt during that time. Writing a poem about somebody else is harder because I don't know what they were feeling. I don't know what emotions they had. So I kind of have to like really dig. I had to really dig within Eden, to get those emotions out of her. Like, please tell me how you felt. What were you thinking of? What thoughts were going through your head? And so that's how I got most of the stories and the poems in Paradise Taken. It was a roller coaster of emotions. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I just, just watching the trailer, you know, I've seen him grow up with some form of domestic violence, and so that resonated with me. Um, can you talk to us about some of the secrets that you used that helped you be creative?
So I take like a structured approach. Be it like maybe it was my military background that set me up for that, but I'll put it in steps. So the first step is just get it out. Get it out of there, because yes, this is the birthplace of ideas, but also it's the graveyard of ideas. This is where they die as well. So get it out, write it down, type it up, draw it, whatever you have to do, just get it out of there. All right. And it doesn't have to be sexy. It doesn't have to be artistic. At first, just get it out. Then, give yourself some time. After you've gotten it out, step away, give yourself a day or two, go get entertained, go watch a movie, go for a walk in nature, listen to some music, and then come back to it. And you'll be surprised, how many creative ideas you can come up with afterward. So it doesn't have to be, right then and there, I have to do it right then and there. No, take it step by step. Don't drown yourself. Don't just don't lose it right then and there. And then my third step, and this one goes in line with how Paradise Taken came about. Challenge yourself. Take any opportunity to step outside of your comfort zone. Because let me tell you, I was outside of my comfort zone the whole time with Paradise Taken, but I think at the end of the day, I produced something pretty incredible. I think I did a good job in telling Eden's story, and also giving inspiration to those who went through similar things. Inspire them to maybe seek out ways that they can overcome those things.
I love that. When you say challenge yourself, sometimes I feel like it's easier said than done, right? It's like I want to do something, I want to challenge myself, but I just don't want to do it. So, what is going in your mind, and what's your thought process off when you say, Omar, I got to challenge myself, or Omar, oh my God, I'm challenging myself. I think it's too much. I'm overwhelmed. Where do you find that common balance not to listen to the bad side of your voice saying stop now or give up?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because during some of the interviews with Eden, they got very emotional, man. Like I was in tears, she was in tears, and I often thought to myself, like, should we stop? Is this enough? Like, do I have enough to tell a story? Like I felt like I was being selfish by asking for more, but at the end of the day, I just felt like I told Eden, like, hey, yes, this is about you, but it's also it's more than you. There's other victims out there. There's other survivors out there. They need to read this. So we went beyond ourselves, and we made it about, okay, this is a story about Eden Flores, but you know what? This is a story to inspire the other survivors, the other victims out there. So we just found something. We aimed for something that was beyond us, like a better cause, and that's what gave me the strength, like to take up this challenge and to stay with it, because yeah, I took the challenge, but I didn't have to stay with it. I could have ended it, halfway through. All right, yeah, I think that this is enough, but I just found the strength in that I wanted to be the voice for others.
Wow. So I thank you so much for sharing some of those points tonight. And I definitely hope that those are watching, whether on the live or on the replay, you're taking some notes, because this is awesome. And again, I'm sure we're going to hear a little bit more on the final thoughts of our show. So again, thank you so much, Omar, for coming on.
Thank you.
And so last but not least, anchoring us in, super excited. Today was the book launch officially. And here you are tonight. Woohoo! And I get the honor in introducing you. So everybody, I want you to meet Karin Freeland. Karin is a recovering corporate workaholic. And after years in high pressuring leadership roles at Fortune 500 companies, she traded the board room for the bedroom. In her hilarious tell-all book, The Ins and Outs of My Vagina, a penetrating memoir, she recounts the mishaps and misadventures she'd had over the past 40 years with special partner in crime. And so I'm super excited to have you on tonight and tell us a little bit about the book and what's going on. And, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me tonight. And it's just amazing to be in this company. You all are so inspirational. And I'm just, everything you've been saying, I'm like nodding along with and vehemently agreeing with all of your tips for living creative. So thank you for sharing that. So actually, I had a bit of a struggle. It was a different struggle, but I was, if you will, living the dream, right? I had a great cushy job in corporate. And I say cushy kind of tongue in cheek because it was still hard. There was a ton of pressure, but like, let's face it, I was making 6-figure salary. We had a roof over our head. I was married, 2 healthy boys. I had a Benz in the driveway. And yet I was completely miserable, like hated waking up and going to work. And I had this really tremendous fear of death and that I was wasting my life making PowerPoint presentations all day. And I thought there's got to be something more. Like God did not put me here to make PowerPoints for other people. Like this can't be why I'm here. There has to be something more. And doing a lot of that soul searching that Jeffrey was talking about, it brought me to watching The Secret. So if you're familiar with like the law of attraction, of course, yes, everybody's nodding. Jack Canfield was in that show and he's talking about how he wrote all these books, but the way he got it done was action. So, to Omar's point, getting that dream out of your head and actually doing something about it. And literally I had this epiphany, and this is like 2019. So it's about 2 years ago. And I was like, my book, I know what I want to do. I want to finish writing my memoir that I started in 2009, 10 years earlier, when I was pregnant with my first son. And of course, life got in the way, right? So I had written some chapters here and there. I probably had 40,000 words down on paper. And all of a sudden I was like, that's it. I'm going to get serious about this. Like I have to change my life. And I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm just going to start writing this book, and the money and all the other good stuff, it's going to come later. I'm going to chase this passion. And I absolutely just found this fire in my belly again. And I got excited and I couldn't wait to write. And it was just like this fuel for me. And I didn't mind going to work anymore all of a sudden because I knew that I was using all my money that I was making in corporate to fund for my editor and down the road for PR and all the things that I was going to need to launch this book. And it's just completely changed my life. Like I have done such a 180. People who knew me in corporate are like, who are you? Like, I didn't even know you were this fun. I never seen you smile like this before. I get DMs and stuff for my posts. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I ever did smile. Like it was kind of forced. I was just going through the motions like a zombie, got up every morning, made the kids breakfast, rushed around like a chicken with my head cut off, commuted an hour and 15 minutes to the office, worked for 8 hours, came home, did dishes, ate dinner, worked for 2 more hours, and went to bed. And I did that all over again the next day. So it wasn't really like a life, I wasn't in the driver's seat. This is what I always tell my clients that I work with in my life coaching. Like, I want to take you from the passenger seat of your life and put you back in the driver's seat because it's a lot more fun when you're driving.
Yeah, no, I love that. I like how you kind of just started up with just getting it out there, right? And, although that you had started something and then stopped and then started it again, it was okay, right? You took those breaks that Omar was talking about. And, honestly, I really felt a long time just going with the flow. Yeah. I think that it's just kind of the things that you do and you get caught up with, and you look back and you're like, wow, I never got a chance to do that, right? And so here you are just crossing off that what if I didn't do it.
Oh, that was my biggest thing. Is like, I don't want to live with regret, right? And I was an actress and a dancer, and I followed my dreams right after college, and I moved to Miami, and I moved to New York City, and I did all that stuff. And I just kept thinking, like, what if I had never given up on that? Where would I be today? Who knows? Maybe I'd be a big celebrity or a star. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be, but who knows? So it's like, I didn't want to have to ask myself what if anymore. And I just said, you know what? This time I'm going to bet on me. Like, I'm going to bet on the fact that I can do this and I can make this happen. And I did.
Yeah. I think that as we're all nodding our heads, those that are watching can definitely just think to their minds, right? Is like, what is that what if moment? What is that something that I wanted to do that I just didn't get a chance to do? What was holding me back? Was it time? Was it money? Was it connection to somebody, an introduction? What was it? And it's super interesting just to kind of hear you living and breathing in your dream, living in the moment and saying, hey, I'm going to face my fear.
Yeah. And I call BS on the time thing, because that is one of my first tips for living creative is you have to carve out time for the things that fill you up and make you happy. So I would start coming home from work and I would be like, guess what, guys? Mommy needs 15 minutes to write. Don't bother me. Don't come upstairs. Don't ask me no questions. Your father's downstairs. Like, I need 15 minutes to write. And I started carving this out religiously every single day, 7 days a week. And next thing you know, 15 minutes became 30 and 30 became 45. And then my kids were like, have you written today? You better go work on that book. And I'm like, okay, I will. Go write some more chapters. And so if you start to carve out that time and you involve your whole family or whoever you've got around you in your process, they'll start, well, hopefully, right, start rooting for you and allowing you to carve out more of that time because they want you to see you succeed and they see how much fun you're having. I think. Yeah. No, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say, I have children and it's super cool because they support my shows. They say, hey, Dad, did you get this ready? Or did you confirm this? And they're 8, 6, and 3 years old. And then I have a 5-month-old. And so she's too soon to talk. But it's just so cool when you start to sacrifice. And, look, I've done this for over 2 years now. And I never thought that this would be what it was now. I had a vision, I had a dream, I had the passion, but what if nobody liked it? What if nobody wanted to speak? What if nobody listened and watched? But I don't do it for those reasons. And so I'm living in the moment with you all here. So this is a dream come true for myself.
I love that. And I think one of my other tips, just kind of piggybacking on what you were saying is this authenticity, right? I think this book is going to do so well because of how authentic it is. It is like truth to the nth degree. And I've always gravitated to humor. So like 90% of this book is humorous. Now I also cover some raw moments. I talk about for the first time ever having a miscarriage and what that experience was like, and looking into the toilet going like, I was just pregnant 30 seconds ago. What do I do? Oh my God, right? Like, and having this like visceral reaction. And then how do you tell your partner? And what do you like? All those things are in there. And friends of mine didn't even know until they read the book that I'd gone through this experience because it's something that women don't talk about. It's something that you're almost, I don't want to say shamed, but it's just like, it's awkward. People don't know what to say to you and it's uncomfortable. Even I got that with my midlife crisis. Like, oh, no, you're too young to have a midlife crisis. You weren't having a midlife crisis. I'm like, I was having, I think I know. It was a midlife crisis. So I just want to start these conversations. And I think people are going to read this book and they're going to appreciate the honesty that is in there and go, oh my gosh, a breath of fresh air. Like finally, I feel like safe to talk about these things. And even if not with a girlfriend, at least with a doctor or a medical professional or someone else that you feel safe with, and just start normalizing these conversations.
Right. And I think that the midlife crisis thing can really happen at any time. There's just certain times that you're just having your restart or your reset, and you're just kind of having that moment of clarity where you're trying to figure out, where do I go from here? And I think
Yeah.
I love how you said just be authentic. Because a lot of times, a wise person once told me, if people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so if you win the heart of, the person, you win the person forever. And to me, that all leads with being authentic. So that's an awesome secret there on living creative. Wow.
Thank you. And I think the last thing, I'm going to change what I was originally going to say, but I think is really going back to your why. Like, why are you doing this? Because that's what's going to fuel you in the tough times and tough moments. And so for me, when I was going through some of that midlife crisis, part of it was because I didn't feel like I had a bigger purpose. Like I didn't feel like I was contributing to society in a bigger way. And so that is why I have also teamed up with the Alliance for Period Supplies to donate a portion of the proceeds from every book sold to help end period poverty. A lot of people do not know, but about 1 in 5 low-income women cannot afford period products. So young girls are missing school. They are staying home for 5 to 7 days because they don't have the products that they need to be able to go to school to manage their period. And there are women who cannot go to work. Like they literally don't have pads and tampons because they're expensive to go to work to feed their family. And I just that's not okay. That breaks my heart. And whatever I can do to play my small part in changing that and impacting some woman's life, I'm honored to be able to do that as a vehicle through my book.
And so, tell me a little bit more for those that are watching and some of the women that maybe want to get involved in just spreading more knowledge for some of the younger women on some of the body changes that they're going through, right? Trying to be politically correct, right? So what would you say is, for those that are watching on how they can get involved with you?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, obviously, if you buy the book, right, some of the proceeds will go to Alliance for Period Supplies. You can check out allianceforperiod.supplies.org. They're constantly doing drives, and they have local people in 125 chapters, I believe, is the latest number that I had, all over the place, where they work with different churches and schools and organizations to do drives, and they'll collect materials and then be able to deliver those supplies to schools or places in need. So definitely check in your community. But if you follow me on Instagram at Karin Freeland and you send me a DM, obviously I know the program directors and everybody over the Alliance. I can always get you in touch with someone who's the right person if it's not me. But yeah, I mean, all these conversations just need to be opened up. And even going back to what Omar was talking about, and abuse and those types of things, and recognizing when I was younger, some of the situations I put myself in weren't so safe. They were not great decisions. So I'm hoping people will learn from my book also to be a little bit safer and to make some better decisions than I made. But if you haven't, and you've got yourself into a situation that's not good or something bad happened, being able to open up and talk to somebody, the more we talk about these things and normalize it, the more people are just going to be able to talk about it and get the help that they need.
Absolutely. So one more time, I wanted to put it up there. Congratulations on your book launch today, The In and Out of My Vagina, a penetrating memoir. Make sure you go on Amazon. It's in the comment section and grab that book. Right now, guys, it happens so fast. It always done. This is the time of the show where we're going over our final thoughts. This will be where those that are watching can really connect with you one last time. And what would be your final thoughts for the show? And we'll lead off in speaker rotation. Jeffrey?
I want to congratulate both of you again for your books. And Omar, you nailed some great things because you just nailed it. Being a ghostwriter is not easy when you're trying to capture someone else's thoughts and feelings and passion. But my book I want to address this, is really important because you said it, Karin, was authenticity. And I think authenticity comes from knowing your why and your passion and understanding. This book here is the same way. It's authentic, it's open, it's transparent. I tap on controversial information from suicide to suicide prevention, depression, anger. It's all in here, but it doesn't go on the surface. It goes deep to help those out there struggling with these type of things. You know, it's not just amputees, but amputees, limb loss, and their caregivers experience that. So this is what my book is all about. It's being authentic and transparent and open, and about talking about a real subject. But in closing, Omar said it, you know, whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to be creative, trying to find another, you know, another job, another career, it's about getting it out there, is putting it out, whether it's writing, whether it's whatever it is jumping in and putting it out there and not being afraid of falling and failing and learning from, if you do fall and fail, to learn from those mistakes and make things better for your life. And that's one of my final thought. I thought it was really great that he touched upon that. And thank you for that, Omar.
And thank you, Jeffrey, for that, the final thoughts. And you're always welcome to come back on the round tables. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Omar?
So one last thing I'll say is, yeah, you know, we're talking about, you know, getting it out, but also don't feel like it has to be done immediately. You know, don't hype yourself up to where you get nowhere. You know, take time. You know, it's okay. Don't rush the process. You know, take time. You know, let it settle. Once you've got it out there, you know, take time to absorb it and really find out, you know, what's your next, you know, step, you know, B, C, D, E, so on and so forth. And, you know, you'll see right away that things are going to fall in place. Things are going to come together, you know, so just be structured about it. You know, don't let chaos, you know, come and take over the process. Just, you know, stay calm, stay focused, and remember the why, like what Karin touched upon. Remember why you're doing it, okay? And that'll ignite the passion and, you know, the motivation and keep you going.
Awesome. I love the energy that you guys are all bringing tonight. These are some amazing nuggets. Omar, again, you're always welcome to come back on the round table. And thank you so much again.
No problem.
Lastly, Karin?
Yeah, awesome. Well, I promise all of you, you are more creative than you think. I didn't think I was creative anymore after being in corporate for 15 years. And I started writing this book, and like, I had so much fun naming the chapter titles. I mean, it's like hot dog in a hallway, the cat's out of the bag, bushwhacked, like, I mean, the tongue tango, like there's so many things that I just was able to put my own stamp on and just have fun again. And if you are feeling stuck, I want to tell you, don't start asking everybody else, because that's what I did. I was looking at everybody else. What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? Help me. Because I was floundering. I was stuck. But when I really reflected and turned inward, I had all the answers. I knew I didn't want to be in corporate anymore. I'd known since at least 2016, but I just stuck it out for 4 years because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. So forget about the shouldas, couldas, wouldas. Just decide what you want to do, really reflect internally what makes you tick, and do it. Just go for it. And the universe will align.
All right. Just go
Jam.
for it. I love that. So guys, you know, I always like to end with a quote of the show. This is from Maya Angelou. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Thank you so much for those that were watching. Thank you so much for the speakers. Go in grace, go in peace. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye. Good luck,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
You too.